buy the high tide, sell the low tide. I critique mansions. I tell you 3 things I like about it, 3 things I don't like about it in a short 3-minute video so you can binge watch them after each other. And in today's episode, we're going to do 31272 Broad Beach, 6-bedroom, 9-bathroom, 12,301 square feet, listed for $65 million, and it sits on a lot that is over an acre flat on the beach. Okay, before I tell you 3 things I love about this property, you should know that the content of this video is purely my personal opinion. Real estate analysis is subjective in nature, and I don't guarantee the accuracy of information. For all that stuff, you can contact the listing agent. The information is entertainment, educational purposes. Let's go. 3 things I love about this property. The third thing I love about this property is the massive square footage and the fact that it's a primary residence and a vacation home. Listen, when you want to buy a vacation home, if it could also function as a primary residence for the locals, then you got a bigger buyer pool, and that's better for you. You will have a higher resale in the future. The second thing I love about this property is the lot dimensions. Let me explain. Look, you have a freaking horseshoe driveway over here. Then you have a front yard that is gated, and then you have a massive yard. Remember, we are on the beach, ladies and gentlemen. This is huge. This is massive. And the number one thing I love about this property is the mahal. And you're like, what does that mean? In Farsi, it means location. Broad Beach for me is my favorite beach by far. There's something about Broad Beach that every time I go, and pretty much the only beach I go to, and whenever I go to Malibu, it takes me out of LA. It takes me out of California. I feel like I'm in Mallorca. Okay, before I tell you 3 things I don't like about it, I want to give you guys an update on ZipSmart.ai. I keep delaying the launch because it just keeps getting better and better and better, and I have to draw the line somewhere and say, this is enough. Like, we can do that in 3.1 and 3.2. Now, I'm going to launch it hopefully by mid-January. You should sign up right now. Don't tell me I didn't tell you. I'm jacking up the prices significantly. Okay, 3 things I don't like about this property. The third thing I don't like about this property is the finishes. They are ridiculously bad. I mean, look at the bathroom over here. And then look at the kitchen. Like, I think the kitchen was recently done. Why would you cheap it out on a lot like this? Look, I know what the game they're playing. Like, you know, they're thinking, you know, you're buying the lot. You know, you don't want to change the finishes. It doesn't work that way. Maybe 2 years ago, not in this market. There's plenty of high-end properties. There's plenty of deals to be done in the ultra high-end right now for you guys to think, you know what? Someone's just going to fall in love with the lot and not see the flaws of the property. The finishes are just nowhere close to the asking price. Okay, the second thing I don't like about this property is Broad Beach. Now you're like, Arvin, you just told us it's one of the best beaches. Yes, it was. But right now, the water is all the way up. If you compare Broad Beach from 2 years ago to today, it's ridiculously worth. The width of the beach is like 1/3 of what it used to be. And that's my point of buying the high tide, selling the low tide. You see, I've done a lot of research in this regard. I've talked to plenty of real estate agents that specialize in like Broad Beach and Malibu Beach and Malibu Road and all these other communities. And I've talked to the locals, I've talked to the mayor, I've talked to everyone you can think of. And I've come to the conclusion that there's no science, there is no prediction that this beach will remain a wet beach or dry beach and this beach will remain a wet beach. It just constantly changes. So for you, it might be a good investment. If you find a beach that is completely a wet beach and you pay way significantly less for it because there's no sand, and then you end up selling the property 5-10 years from now when it's like a dry beach, right? Now, if you're making an argument, water levels are coming up, they're all getting screwed, then forget about that. Then we're all screwed, okay? Now, the number one thing I don't like about this property is the architectural style. We call this architectural style ugly, okay? It's this Mediterranean design that doesn't look like any houses in, you know, Italy or Spain. It just American version of what they thought Mediterranean style was. Like whoever who came up with this style first, he had never gone to Europe before. Okay, this is not Mediterranean. It's just ugly. Look at the angles. Look at this hexagon shape. It doesn't make any sense. There's nothing like this in Europe that would qualify and classify as an architectural style. Now, tell me in the comments if you think this property is actually going to sell, and if so, for how much. I read and answer all the comments, and if you like this video, you will like one of these videos. Okay, now get out of here, get in the comments. I will see you guys there.